Emily Carter had always believed family dinners were sacred. Growing up, they were filled with laughter, shared stories, and the comforting aroma of her mother's homemade lasagna. But tonight, as she sat at the polished cherrywood table, the air was thick with tension. Her father, Mark, cleared his throat, his voice steady but cold. "Emily, your mother and I have finalized our will. Everything, the house, the lake cottage, the savings, will go to Jake and Lily." Emily froze, her fork clattering against her plate. Her younger siblings, Jake and Lily, exchanged smug glances, their smirks dripping with self-satisfaction. "Wait, what?" Emily stammered, her voice trembling. "What do you mean, everything?" Her mother, Linda, chimed in, her tone sharp. "You've done well for yourself, Emily. You don't need the help. Jake and Lily, they're still finding their footing." Emily's heart pounded as she looked around the table. Jake, the reckless one who'd dropped out of college twice, and Lily, the self-proclaimed influencer who'd never held a steady job. They were the ones getting everything. After years of Emily quietly paying the mortgage, covering Jake's tuition, and funding Lily's endless projects, the room fell silent, save for the faint hum of traffic outside. Emily's stomach churned as she pushed her plate away, the lasagna now tasting like ash. "So this is my reward for sacrificing everything?" she demanded, her voice low but firm. Her mother sighed dramatically. "You always bring it back to money, Emily. It's never about family with you." Emily stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. "It was always about family for me," she said, her voice breaking. "But I'm done being your ATM." As she stormed out, the front door slammed behind her, cutting her off from the voices inside, voices that no longer mattered. Weeks passed, but Emily couldn't shake the betrayal. She'd cut off her family financially, canceling the automatic payments she'd set up for their mortgage and bills. Yet, the pain lingered, a constant ache in her chest. One afternoon, while helping her parents organize their cluttered study, Emily stumbled upon an old ledger tucked beneath a stack of papers. Curiosity got the better of her, and she flipped it open. Her heart sank as she scanned the entries, thousands of dollars transferred to Jake and Lily over the years, labeled tuition, rent, and emergency funds. But what shocked her most were the dates. These transfers coincided with the times Emily had sent money to her parents, believing it was for the family's needs. She'd been funding her siblings' reckless lifestyles without even knowing it. Emily's hands trembled as she confronted her parents. "You've been lying to me this whole time," she demanded, her voice shaking with anger. Her father avoided her gaze, while her mother sighed. "We did what we had to do, Emily. Jake and Lily needed the help. And what about me?" Emily shot back. "Did I not matter?" Her siblings, as usual, were no help. Jake rolled his eyes. "You're such a martyr, Emily. Nobody forced you to help." Lily smirked, twirling a strand of her hair. "Maybe you thought throwing money at us would make Mom and Dad love you more." The words cut deep, reopening old wounds Emily had spent years trying to ignore. She stormed out, the ledger clutched in her hand, vowing to never let them hurt her again. Emily thought cutting off her family would bring her peace. But she was wrong. One night, after a long day at work, she returned to her apartment to find her door spray-painted with the words *family first. Her heart raced as she stepped inside, only to discover her living room trashed, furniture overturned, photos ripped from the walls, and her laptop smashed on the floor. Security footage revealed the culprit, Jake. Emily's hands shook as she watched her brother smirk at the camera, his face illuminated by the glow of his phone as he filmed the destruction. The next morning, Emily filed a police report. Her parents called, begging her to drop the charges. "He didn't mean it, Emily," her mother pleaded. "He's just upset." But Emily stood her ground. "He's an adult, Mom. He needs to face the consequences." As the police arrested Jake, he screamed, "You'll regret this, Emily." His words echoed in her mind long after he was taken away. Emily thought the worst was over. But her family wasn't done destroying her. Days after Jake's arrest, Emily's phone buzzed incessantly with notifications. Her parents and siblings had taken to social media, painting her as the villain. "Emily abandoned us," her mother wrote in a lengthy post. "She's trying to ruin Jake's life because she's jealous of him." The comments poured in, some sympathetic but many harsh. "How could you do this to your family?" one relative wrote. "You're so selfish," another added. Emily felt the weight of their words crushing her. But instead of crumbling, she decided to fight back. She posted a detailed account of her sacrifices, photos of bank transfers, receipts, and screenshots of texts begging for money. The post went viral. Friends and strangers alike rallied behind her, calling out her family's toxic behavior. For the first time in years, Emily felt seen and heard. Emily had spent her life sacrificing for others. Now, it was time to choose herself. She cut all ties with her family, blocking their numbers and social media accounts. She took a dream vacation to Italy, savoring the freedom to spend her hard-earned money on herself. Back home, she reconnected with old friends and even started dating someone who truly valued her. Meanwhile, her family struggled without her support. Her parents took on part-time jobs, Jake faced legal consequences for his actions, and Lily's influencer dreams crumbled. One evening, Emily's Aunt Daisy visited, bringing warmth and wisdom. "Family isn't about blood, Emily," she said gently. "It's about who truly sees your worth." Emily smiled, finally at peace. The price of sacrifice had been high, but the cost of staying would have been higher.